Welcome, everybody, to the UFC Abu Dhabi official recap and talk about an absolute bloodbath. I mean, it was Dog City, 12 fights on the card, 7 of them end up being underdogs. That aside, on a personal note, absolutely abysmal effort. The guys I thought would do okay, not so much. The close bounces didn't go our way. It is what it is. We're here to talk about what went right, the few things, what went wrong, the many things, and then figure out where to go from here. How do you improve? How do you get better? Who's trustworthy moving forward? And who is prone to shit in the apple pie you want no part of. Yeah, the desert wasn't so kind to us. LFA wasn't so kind to us either. But again, it's the totality of the MMA. We've watched tons of stuff all weekend. UAE Warriors on the Thursday, we did well. One championship. UAE Warriors on the Friday did pretty okay. The BKFC ended up being the best card of the week. Hit a little mini PRP there, top 4 lines plus 636, and then pretty much gave the majority of it back away to UFC. So again, you've got Anthony Pettis on FC on Sunday, and a Fury Challenger Series on Sunday as well. Things never stop, but of course, none of that matters. The prime product, the baby, is UFC. And I'll admit, I mean, the last couple of weeks haven't been great. Props have been okay, slight break even. Last week, slight profit this week, but I mean, I'm here for parlays, baby. That's where I want to really start hitting some good plays, putting some good tickets together. And yeah, honestly, it's been a bloodbath. But enough about my crying. Let's figure out who the real winners and the real losers from this weekend were. Starting off, I don't know why I got Bryce Mitchell queued up. Okay, yeah, we got Martin Budai versus Marcus Buchecha. I did go with Marcus Buchecha. One, I mean, yeah, BJJ world champion in Abu Dhabi. He's won the ADCCs. He's a big deal over there. If this thing is close, maybe they'll give him the rub, but this was just a really bad performance. Martin Budai did everything he was supposed to do. I mean, he largely stuffed all of the takedowns, except for one in the second round. Did a pretty good job of keeping it upright and boxing Buchecha up. But for Marcus Buchecha, I mean, just a really bad look. I say that because, again, as you go through the rounds, the first round's 19-19 on the significant strikes. There's an edge for Budai on the total strikes, but this wasn't all that close of a first round. I did notice some people online scoring the first round for Buchecha optimistically because I had him. I would love that to be true. I just don't think that the shots that he was landing in the first round were really impactful. He landed a couple nice right hands. He at one point exploded with a 3 or 4 punch combination, but Budai did a good job of slipping most of them, blocking most of them. And then when Budai's returning fire, it just looked like the body language from Buchecha wasn't all that good. So I scored the first round for Budai. Optimistically, I'd love to agree with the people that thought Buchecha won because I bet him, but I just didn't really feel that way. Second round, and keep in mind, Buchecha went 0 for 6 in takedowns in the first. So you got Martin Budai that stuffed 6 takedowns, landed the more impactful blows. I thought he won it. The second round, we just went 0 for 6 on takedowns. So what are the chances that we're going to get one? But boom, Buchecha does. Nice little blast double leg, takes him off his balance temporarily, off his feet, lands on top, secures top control, and we've got like 4 minutes to work with. So I get Marcus Buchecha is 35 years old now, a little bit older, but his quality of grappling, 4 minutes of top control, I got to assume that a submission is going to materialize, or at least a very dominant round for him. And it wasn't really that. The total strikes and the significant strikes are very wonky in this round. It'll show that Marcus landed 45 total strikes. They only deemed 3 of them to be significant. I highly disagree with that. There was a bunch of takes where it wasn't a back take. He would stand above him, creating all the space in the world. You got Budai's on a turtle guard. Buchecha standing above him and smacking him from both sides. How are those not significant? I don't know. But the point being is that we had 4 minutes of top control to work with. He used up about 3 minutes and 10 seconds of that to not really get much. Not a ton of guard passing, not a ton of submission threats. Looked briefly for a head and arm choke, abandoned it, landed a little bit of ground and pound. When Budai would give up his back, at one point he used a Kimura to pass and then used the Kimura to take the back. It was a beautiful transition. But once on the back, he really had nothing in the way of a rear naked choke. You could tell he was getting tired. And then by the end of the second round, Budai reverses, ends up on top, and then spends like the last 50 seconds of the round landing some decent ground and pound. People thought Budai won that round. Again, you look at the significant strike numbers, he outstruck him. He got the reversal. He ended the round on top. I disagree with those people. I got this thing 1-1. But you can see where Buchecha's best moment was to get a takedown, to get on top, and to use that submission game. He got the takedown. He got on top. The submission game wasn't a threat at all. Now, Budai is also a BJJ black belt. I just think when you stack them up, it's like, well, one guy's a world champion competition black belt. The other guy's just got one. Yeah, this was pretty indicative that Martin Budai knows what he's doing on the ground. Defensively, he was pretty sound, didn't take any damage, didn't get almost submitted, survived the round, ends up on top. This is bad news. I got 1-1. but this is not looking good. And that third round is exactly it. Now, what happens in the third round is interesting. Budai comes out, he stuffs the early takedown attempts, he's beating him up, he's winning the round, it's pretty clean. And then he decides, probably thinking after that second round, hey, I'm on the ground with him. I reversed position. I ended up on top. When I was ground and pounding him the last 50 seconds to end the round, he wouldn't do nothing. This guy's dead dog tired. He's flopping on the ground. I'm just going to get on top of him. That proved to almost be a tactical error as Buchecha hits a sweep and is able to jump back on Budai's back. Now, there's about 2 minutes, 2 minutes and 20 seconds. All he realistically needs to do is maintain this position. Yeah, a little bit of ground and pound is going to be nice. Yeah, a possible submission attempt would just look good for the judges, but just maintain position for the rest of this third round. It's 1-1. You can win the third round. Instead, it's like he's just so tired. His jiu-jitsu is nullified. He does the same thing. Budai goes to turtle guard, and instead of trying to put both hooks in, Budai's so big, the body triangle probably just wasn't going to happen, but he just needed to melt like cheese on him. Give him no space and literally cling on. Instead, he does the same thing. As soon as Budai goes to turtle guard, he stands above him, tries to smack him from both sides, and that allows Budai to scramble, gets back up, gets on top again. Budai rides it out. Clean win for Martin Budai. He won. I saw a couple people thought maybe Buchecha won the first and Buchecha won the second. Therefore, they thought that Marcus Buchecha maybe won it didn't matter. He did not win the fight. It was a very bad performance. When you're 35 years old, you got to think about upside. At 35, heavyweight, you're not super old in the heavyweight division, but it's like, where is he going to make his improvements? His striking looked, a little bit better, but not enough to hang in the UFC. His wrestling, definitely did not look good. I just don't see a ton of room for improvement. And then for Budai, like shockingly enough, he's 7-1 in the UFC. Like his only loss is from Shamil Gaziev. And then you'll see a whole lot of green here. He fights lower end heavyweights, but he's serviceable. If you can't beat Budai, chances are you're not going to be world class. If you can beat Budai, like Shamil Gaziev, then you could possibly be a decent fighter as well. Maybe headline some Apex cards or work your way into the heavyweight division. So he's serviceable in that regard. He's not exactly a big finisher. You'll see last 3 wins all by decision. Prior to that, he had a TKO in the Contender Series, but in a submission over Josh Parisian. But outside of that, a lot more. 6-1 record in the UFC, 7-1 in the record. Most of those are by decision. So he's not like he's super entertaining, but in terms of a good litmus test for these up and coming guys or these, over the hill veterans or whatever the case may be, Budai still is very serviceable. It was a clean victory for him. I'll give him his props there. It also it felt like Buchecha could have won this fight for a couple moments to go his way. Maybe do something more with that top control in the second. More importantly, if he could have capitalized on that sweep in the third, stolen that round back, would have been fantastic for him. But, just not to be. Wasn't in the cards. Moving on, Stephen Newin versus Muhammad Yaya. This was kind of hard to watch. But also, Yaya, this guy's got heart. Clearly, he doesn't have the skills to hang, but the guy's got a whole lot of heart. The first round went about as bad as you possibly could get. It's 5 knockdowns. If it was a pro boxing match, they would have just called it. If it was a BKFC fight, I think they allow you to have 4. They probably would have also called it. This was like they were flash knockdowns. He was clearly hurting him, but every time that Yaya would hit the ground, he would prop right back up and then walk right into harm's way. Second round, he fought a better round, only got knocked down once. But again, it's like Newin. I wouldn't say Newin's slowing down as much as Yaya's just tough. He's taking his best punches. He's starting to land a few himself. This is probably a 10-6 round 1, definitely a 10-7. And then the second round, probably a 10-8 second round. And then they just had mercy on, not have mercy on him like, hey, kid, live to fight another day. Like his eye was just grotesque, absolutely swollen out, could not see from it. And he's pleading with the doctors, I want to fight. I'm good to go. That's the heart of a warrior. Unfortunately, the athleticism, the speed, the power, the technique, all of that stuff's lacking. But he does have the one thing that you can't teach, which is the guy's got the heart of a warrior. He's 0-3 in the UFC, but imagine this is the end of the road for him. Typically, you do sign a 4-fight contract, so it's not impossible to think that they would bring him back for 1. But if you're absorbing this kind of damage against Stephen Newin, 6 knockdowns, which I think is a UFC record, I just don't see where your place is. You can't allow a guy, just because he's got heart and he's got a big old set of cojones, you can't allow this guy just to take life-changing beatings. And this is kind of a life-changing beating. Cowboy Fernandez kind of just butchered his leg. Trevor Peek just kind of took him down. So I wouldn't say he always takes massive damage, but you're getting older, the division's getting younger, they're getting faster, they're getting better, and you've really made no improvements. It's just a tough place to be. In hindsight, Stephen Newin should have been the pick of the week on the top line. Go everything on him. He was minus 450, which was steep, but a lot more trustworthy than these other big favorites that end up blowing it down the road. It's just, are you going to put all your money on Steve Newin at the time? No, that doesn't seem like a great idea. In hindsight, like he was probably the biggest straightforward pick on the card. All the same, when you're fighting a guy in enemy territory, there's always a little bit of uneasiness. And in this case, there was nothing to be worried about. Stephen Nguyen made it look good. Where does Stephen Nguyen go from here? He's got big output. Obviously, he's got some damaging blows. He's a fun, exciting striker. I do think that there's elements to his game that are still lacking. But if you're looking for fighters that are going to entertain the crowd, very exciting offensive fight style, would match up well with a lot of these guys coming into the Contender Series and maybe some of the bottom end guys of the division. Stephen Nguyen also, I don't know why I always use his full name. I could just call him Steve. Calling him Nguyen seems weird to me. I don't know. That seems like a weird one to me. Anyways, I'll just continue calling him Steve Nguyen. In hindsight, it's like really the only fight he's really looked bad in outside of his first fight in the Contender Series, which he didn't really look bad in, but that was 6 years ago, was his Yarno Aarons fight. Aarons has got really solid Dutch-style Muay Thai. It's a bad style clash for him. The guy's also really not that bad himself. What I like is that he took a full year off, little more than a year off, cleared his head, healed up from the damage because Aarons gave him a whole lot of damage in that fight, and then came back as a fresh, reinvigorated version of himself. So solid win for Steve. For Muhammad, showed off a ton of heart, but that's kind of about it. And for that doctor, it's like, yeah, we're stopping. It's like, no, man, don't. It's like, dude, I would lose my license if I didn't stop this thing. Look at your eye. Your eye is growing an eye. Dude still wants the smoke, so props there. Ivo Aslan versus Billy Alakana. First and foremost, I want to apologize on this one. It didn't go the way I thought in terms of like the style clash, but originally on the Dogger Pass, Bookie Beatdown midweek, is I did take Billy Alakana. Then I did the Half the Battle show at Daniel Levy, and I'm not blaming it on anybody but myself. But the narratives did get to me. Oh, man, he had a bad staph infection that last time against Ian Kudalaba. Oh, man, he spent 8 weeks in Dagestan. Okay, he'll stuff the takedowns. And if he stuffs the takedowns and he's feeling healthier and his cardio's better from not having staph infection, then he'll win this fight standing. So I flipped the pick. And in hindsight, I obviously should not have flipped the pick. But also this one did not go the way I thought in my head at all. Like the only reason I was picking Billy Alakana is I thought he would get a takedown. Took down Bogdan Guskov, took his back. That was on short notice. This is a full camp. With a full camp, if his cardio is better and he can take down Guskov and get some control time there, then he should do it to Ebo. But with the takedowns off the table, I didn't think Billy would win the fight. And to be honest, he did not take him down at all. He never even came close. So on one hand, if you thought, Ebo in Dagestan is going to help out his takedown defense, and Ebo not on antibiotics for a staph infection is going to help his cardio, that actually proved to be true. His takedown defense was actually better. His cardio did check out. We got the fight where we wanted it, to strictly a striking battle. And that is where he blew the fight. I heard people like hit me up in my messages being like, I thought it was fixed. I'm not going to go as far as say it was just fixed. I would never do it. It's just, especially in the Ebo case, he just really did not fight this fight like he was attempting to win it. On the per round, you'll see. First round, I'll always give a guy a pass because Billy is a lot longer than Aslan and he's faster than Aslan. So it's going to take a little while to get a read. When a guy mails in the first round, it's not, he's not trying to fight. It's that there's no desperation right now. It's just round one. And two, he's making reads. He's figuring out the distance. He's figuring out the timing. He's downloading information in real time. And then you would hope that in the second and the third round, he's going to apply that. So the first round, it's like, it's close. And on a bias standpoint, I'm hoping they give it to Ebo. But it felt like Billy's just beating him to the punch. The straight left, particularly because he's from the southpaw stance, that straight left was getting through, was landing some decent shots. He was just a little bit quicker, keeping him on the end of his punches. And Ebo shows like no sense of urgency. He's mostly flat-footed, standing, not even standing in the pocket, flat-footed at range, attempting to come forward, but not attempting to cut off the cage. He's not trying to shoot to the right and walk him into something. You would see that he would throw up these head kicks every now and again, or these like big power kicks. It's like you need to circle him into the kick. When you look at the total significant strikes percentage, 35 of his total strikes landed. 35%. Like he's just whiffing at air the whole time. Anyways, that's just the first round. So it's like, okay, well, Billy really didn't land anything either. So this is a close first round that I feel went to Billy, but nothing really happened. We're not getting outclassed. We just got to turn up the volume in the second. And then in the second, he does absolutely no such thing. Billy did shoot a couple takedowns, didn't get nowhere with them. Ebo's got this guy not reeling. Because here's another thing. When you look at Billy, his 2 losses, Daniel Compton, he kind of half quits in that fight. The Bogdan Guskov's tough, and it was on short notice, but, like, small argument that he maybe quits a little bit in that fight. So if he's got that quit in him, if he doesn't got the heart of a warrior, if he doesn't got a Muhammad Yaya heart in him, you got to make this guy quit. Well, how are you going to do that? Either got to hurt him or tire him out. If you're not hitting him, you're not hurting him. And if you're not trying to push the action, you're not tiring him out. So Billy really just had his way here. He shot a couple takedowns. They got stuffed easy, and he just went back to range. Rangefinder kicks. Use that left hand. Stay a little bit sharper. Ebo, meanwhile, he's smiling, and he's laughing, and he's having a good time, and he got real complacent in there. Third round, Ebo, maybe more of a sense of urgency. Threw 36 significant strikes. Pretty well everything he threw was considered significant. He was trying to land maybe that big right hand, but like Billy just had his timing. Billy was fresh as a daisy. Ebo Aslan just couldn't get anywhere close. You can make an argument that if he was going to win one of those rounds, maybe he won the first, maybe he won the third. But I mean, I think he lost all 3 rounds. 30-27. 2 judges agreed 30-27. Ben Cartlidge gave it a 29-28, which you could see. You could see maybe nothing really happened in a lot of these rounds. You could say that Ebo won one of them. But as a totality, it's like, yeah, I forgot what I'm gonna look. That's what I need my guy Paul here. See, I forgot my picture. Okay, yeah. I was talking into thin air. But yeah, as a totality, it just wasn't really that good of a performance from Ebo Aslan. Followed him around a lot of the time. Why did I switch the pick? Because I'm an idiot. Why did I have him higher up? Because looking at some of these favorites, I felt like guys were going to shit in the apple pie. Ebo started off at -220. He was some value. He went off at -280. Clearly, the trend was going in his direction. It felt like he was going to stuff the takedowns, keep this fight standing, and be the better striker. One of those things happened. He stuffed the takedowns and kept the fight standing. Outside of that, he did not win the striking exchanges, and he was not the better fighter. So I apologize that I just figured out how to put my camera thing on there. But yeah, we're going to move on to Tabitha Ricci, Amanda Ribas. Nasty work. I mean, I hate to say it for Amanda Ribas, but just feels like really this girl's durability is just shot. I'm going to switch back over, show this tab. Amanda Ribas's career. Polyana Viana. Now, we all know Polyana Viana because she is pretty well, but one of the worst girls. Hot, don't get me wrong, but like really low level and, mostly submission girl. She's a black belt. She gets submitted. I'm trying to see when the last time she knocked somebody out was. She knocked out Amanda Ribas, and that's pretty well all. So she's got 1 knockout win in her entire career. And it just so happens to be against Ribas. Beyond that is like Ribas gets knocked out by Marina Rodriguez, which is fair because Marina Rodriguez is a power puncher, but all the same, it's not a good look. Verna Jandiroba dropped her. It's a really bad look. Macy Barber knocks her out. Again, I'm talking pure hindsight here because I picked her. It's my bad. Totally my fault. But now that you see Tabitha Ricci absolutely smoke through her like that, I don't think that there's any argument to be had anymore. Like that, she just quite simply can't take a punch. Durability is just not quite there. I wouldn't say she doesn't have heart, although this one it looked like she got smashed once with an elbow and then was just like, that's it for me. Crumpled down to the canvas. I'm not going to say she doesn't have no heart. It's just like when these shots land, she won the first round against Marina Rodriguez. She's won a lot of these rounds against girls. It's just at any point, if she gets hit, she goes down. And this is much of the same. I thought she won the first round. She got the lone takedown, even though Ricci got most of the control time. She outlanded her. Tons of total strikes, but even just in the significant strikes department, almost doubled her up. Close first round, gave it to Ribas. Second round, Tabitha Ricci just went hard. She shot the takedown, got it briefly. Ricci didn't really secure that control time. Ribas gets back up and then just a beautiful short little elbow. Now listen, you can't take nothing away from Ricci, durability issues or not. It was a nice little elbow, and I like that she was being aggressive. Decided she didn't want to fight Ribas in that open field. Get her back up against the cage, out muscle her. I wouldn't say critical, but I've been, and not even harsh. But I have pointed out that Ricci's a little bit undersized and not necessarily the most physical girl in the division. I thought she did an excellent job of using some of that. Looked in shape, looked strong, and then use that to get some standing cage control, complete a takedown, and then eventually just beat her up standing up against the cage. Nasty little elbow, got the job done. Solid work from Tabitha Ricci. Another pick wrong for myself. Women's MMA, CF dot model, like I guess you could have taken that angle, but I saw a lot of improvements from Tabitha Ricci that Ribas, we kind of got the same version of Ribas. Can fight, can certainly fight, can strike, can wrestle, good elements to her game. But just like when the going gets tough, or these girls decide, you know what, I'm just gonna bite down on my mouthpiece and make this a real fight. She kind of starts to falter once those things happen. So, I mean, tough look for Ribas because like, where do you go from here? You can fight as long as you want. Who's gonna tell you to hang them up? Like, you have every right to do what you please to do. But it's just like it's going to be a long road here where it's like we had an awesome camp and she's fast and it was a good weight cut and her training went really well, and at any point someone blasts you with a shot. You've been knocked out 5 times at 115 pounds, a division that like there's not exactly a ton of knockouts. Like it's not exactly a great look. So that's kind of my piece there. But yeah, listen, you may see her back again. It's just betting on her, especially as a favorite. I don't think that's a road I would ever go down again. My bad. Anyways, Davy Grant, Damon Blackshear. Yeah, I thought this was a really fun fight. This is a fun fight. I mean, it probably helps that because literally I got 4 fights right on this entire card. Probably the worst showing. Like I went 4-8 on this card. You'll never see that. Like I pride myself on, I always get more right than I get wrong. And a bad card would be I got as many right as I went wrong. But 4-8, absolutely abysmal. Davy Grant, the only guy that fought for my dollar. Davy Boy Grant. Anyways, it wasn't super easy either. Like, this is the fight game. Sometimes you can get something right, and it's like you had to overcome some adversity. And maybe your guy doesn't overcome that adversity. He gets choked out in the first round, and you never got to see this thing materialize. Like, we always talk about totalities as if they fought 100 times, if they fought 10 times. Even in the NBA, it's like, I can't say who was doing it, but a real good friend of mine. But like during COVID, they were taking bets on basketball simulations, like 2K, whatever it was, 2K20 or I don't know, whatever the basketball game was that year. And I'm sure they're doing it with other sports. It's just I know that he was crushing it on basketball. So they bought a zillion versions of the game and a bunch of Xboxes and would just simulate computer versus computer all the time. And then they would see, the Nets beat whatever. I'm really not a basketball fan, but the Nets beat the Toronto Raptors 89% of the time. And then the book would release the odd that would say, the Nets are minus 175. And you would know, well, through our simulations, we simulated it hundreds of times. We know the exact percent. It doesn't mean it's 100%. It's never going to be 100%. You just know that it's a 90% likely occurrence. And the other team goes out and wins still. It's possible. Always going to be possible. Damon Blackshear is definitely capable of beating Davy Grant. And you saw that in this first round. Got early takedown. And then after that, I mean, just goes to town. Not goes to town with ground and pound. There was a decent submission attempt, but just more so it's like this is his wheelhouse. He can out-grapple Davy Grant. Grant's had possibly long time ago, 2017, 2018, but he has had some grappling issues in the past, and we all know how good Damon Blackshear can be when he's on top, especially when he's fresh, it's early. Unfortunately, he didn't get the submission. He didn't get the finish. And I think that left him a little bit compromised moving on to that second round. Could he have fought in a different strategy? Potentially. Could he have waited to get that takedown and maybe, just danced around? Oh, there's 2 minutes left. Then get the takedown, just ride out the clock. Made it, a little bit more conservative. Again, possibly. I don't know. But it seemed like something was taken out of him after that first round. Second round, Davy Grant, he only shot 1 takedown, but Grant stuffed it. And then the one thing with Davy is he's not playing shot for shot. When you hit him once, he's unloading back with 2 or 3. And when you see total strikes and significant strikes, in Davy's case, it's always the same. Everything Grant throws is significant. He's really loading up into it. I thought he looked good. For 39-year-old, just like Michael Johnson last week, these guys do still got some step to their game. They are capable of going out there and putting up these serviceable performances. And last week, I bought into the Daniel Zellhuber bullshit. This week, I avoided the Damon Blackshear bullshit. But it's similar in the sense that these guys are talented. They're just not complete quite yet. They're green. Blackshear is going to be a good fighter. Zellhuber could be a good fighter. You're going to have to make mistakes and go back to the drawing board. And so this was just kind of one of those spots where by the second round, Blackshear starts to tire. Davy takes over. The third round, Blackshear had some moments, maybe early, was showing that he still had some signs of life. I did chase a Davy Grant by knockout prop because earlier in the week, it was about plus 900, plus 850. It ended up dropping a little bit lower than that come fight time, but it seemed like it was live to happen. And Blackshear did an excellent job of taking all of Grant's shots. And Grant was throwing them, and he was throwing them as hard as he could. Blackshear's durability checked out. His skills are there. It may have been a cardio issue, and possibly that's because he had to fly all the way to Abu Dhabi and different time zone and different food and different weather. Like, I can't make an excuse for the guy, but the second he started to slow down a little bit was the second that Davy Grant took over, and that really made the difference maker. As far as 135 pounds goes, I think Grant is capable of challenging guys within that top 15, within that top 10, the fringe end, the bottom end, and giving guys tough fights. When you see a fight later on like Marcus McGhee and Peter Yan, I get that they're probably a little faster, a little bit sharper, a little bit better than Davy Grant, but he would give them a fight. He would return fire. He would go out on his shield if need be, and I think that you could use him in a lot of spots. And for Blackshear, I mean, you can't call him a prospect, been around a little bit at this point. He's not exactly a young man. But what is one loss to a divisional gatekeeper who's a proven commodity? What does that really knock you back? Probably not all that much. Get back healthy, get back in the gym, maybe take some time off. You've been very active this year. You've been taking lots of fights. You've been going to all these different places. You've mentioned that you've had some health issues. You may have also had some injury issues. Get healthy. Work on that cardio. And yeah, the striking's really not that bad. And his grappling is his best. It's that fighting Davy Grant and shooting 5 takedowns, getting 1, right? He shot 1 in the first, which is fair. Got it. Easy money. He shot 1 in the second. The third round, it's like, oh, now I'm going to start shooting these takedowns. But by that point, you're real tired. So it's maybe just I'm going to say a ring IQ, but maybe just a better game plan. Maybe just work on a couple of the kinks, and then Blackshear will be back. I'm not worried about that. Muslim Salikhov versus Carlos Leal. If there was one fight to really summarize my entire UFC Abu Dhabi experience, it would be Carlos Leal versus Muslim Salikhov. Leal's excited. Leal's feeling good. Leal just wants to get right after it. And he gets knocked the fuck out. And I mean the fuck out. What a beautiful counter by Salikhov. Beautiful timing. I mean, we're talking about guys in their 40s, and at what point do they slow down? This guy's not slowing down. And you know what? Even if he is slowing down, his version of slowing down ain't like a regular human being, because boy, oh boy, Muslim Salikhov's still a very quick person. Leal, I mean, again, if you were going to fault something, it was that he crashed right into the pocket. But that was probably his path of victory. Hanging out at range with Salikhov wouldn't be the best idea. Getting all up in there and making this thing happen, that was going to be the best idea. And it didn't work. We knew that he had probably better output. He was a younger man, stronger guy. You saw him at the weigh-ins, just absolutely chiseled up, jacked. And then when you look at his career, for the most part, right, Silva by decision, Tim Rudberg, Eduardo Garvon, all decisions, right? Then he loses to Sadi Busi by decision, Sadi Busi on a split decision, Hanat Fakhretdinov on a decision. There was quite literally no reason to believe that he couldn't take a punch. Is that Muslim Salikhov, a man known as the King of Kung Fu, a man that, even though 41 years old, has spent the vast majority of those 41 years nuking people, and effectively has 15 of his 22 wins by knockout. Yeah, on one hand, it's like Leal is not a bad fighter. He's not a chinny fighter. It's just, it seemed like Salikhov is really very much capable of knocking out anybody that stands in front of him, and Leal made the mistake of standing directly in front of him. He was out before he hit the ground. It's a beautiful knockout. It's hard to cap a fight like that where it's like, how do you lose? Puncher's chance, mean KO. Well, that's exactly what happened. Puncher's chance, mean KO. It's part of the game. And you can bet on there's a million ways to lose. That's why no one's ever safe. You could throw a kick and then, just like Anderson Silva, you break your own leg. You could, I don't know, slip on a takedown attempt and blow your ACL out, and that's the end of it. You could not realize your opponent is grounded and throw an illegal knee and get disqualified. You could just get flash KO'd, because this is the game. It's punchy kicky. Everyone's capable of knocking the other guy out. Some guys have a higher percentage of doing it. Some guys have a lower probability of doing it. Salikhov's case, it's like, yeah, he's one of these one-hitter quitter kind of guys, and Leal ran right into the pocket in exchange with him. It's another fight. If they fought 10 times, I'm not sure that is exactly what happens all 10 times. Maybe some of them Leal crashes in and lands a shot first. Maybe some of them that punch doesn't land perfectly on the money. But in any event, kudos to Muslim Salikhov. This was nasty. And for Leal, I mean, he's not shown any durability issues. He's fought some decent guys, and he got absolutely torched 42 seconds in the round. Give this man a performance bonus, which, as you can see, he did collect. And yeah, man, I mean, the live crowd loved this one. They got their money's worth seeing Salikhov, who was a bit of a fan favorite over there, beat someone in spectacular fashion. It's just a tough pill to swallow if you're a Carlos Leal backer, because, I mean, he did it to himself, but tape studying this thing, you had to have assumed that he was probably going to try to fight with that exact approach, and he did, and it just didn't work out. Dems to breaks. Bryce Mitchell versus Said Nurmagomedov. There's no pat on the back to be had here. Like, again, on the prop standpoint, we're at a slight profit. We had Bryce Mitchell by decision. Bryce, one of the 4 guys I had right, but like, it didn't feel good. It felt like if this is the way people are going to win fights, then fighting is not going to be the greatest sport in the world no more. I'm not shitting on Bryce Mitchell. He got the win when I needed him to, especially on a night like this where it was few and far between. I can appreciate what he did. This just wasn't a good fight in the slightest bit. And it also makes you think to yourself, what is fighting exactly? And I say that because you look at the round by round, right? Said Nurmagomedov 100% wins the first round. He gets a knockdown. He outstrikes Bryce Mitchell. On the total strikes, 42-21. It's an exact double up. He stuffs both takedowns. There was some control time. There was some scrambles. There was a bit of grappling in that first round, but we're looking at damage, and especially with the knockdown. This is an all-day, all-night Said Nurmagomedov wins the fight. I'm not feeling good about this Bryce Mitchell pick at this point, but he's got to get his wrestling going, and he's just got to get on that grind. So kudos to him. He did exactly that, but it was just no longer a fight at that point. He goes 3 for 4 on takedowns. Nurmagomedov reversed him twice. It's just Bryce is racking up control time. Bryce is a little bit physically stronger, and Bryce is not taking no risks. Not really looking to pass guard. He's not looking to set up submissions. Sure as shit ain't looking to do no ground and pound. And so even though he wins the second round, 3 minutes and 56 seconds of control time, by the significant strikes, it's 3-1. To me, it's the total strikes. Whereas Said Nurmagomedov landed 31 total strikes to 10 by Bryce Mitchell. Now, I get it's not significant, and a lot of them are just small little punches or small little knees or small little chipping away. But like, one guy's attempting to fight, the other guy is holding him down. If landing little short punches is so easy, then how come the guy that's on top for 4 minutes is only landing 10? Why is that? Well, because he knows if I try to hit him, it's going to create some space. If I create some space, he's going to sweep me in reverse, which he's done twice already. Or he's going to get back up where he's winning striking exchanges. I got knocked down in the first round. I'm not looking to give him no space. I am going to hold him down. I was critical of Marcus Buchecha for his in the third round. It's like, dude, just hold him down. Just grab the position. So on one hand, it's like, yeah, Bryce fought a good game plan. It's just, it's not fighting, man. And then in the third round, it's actually the exact same thing. Bryce goes 0 for 3 on takedowns, right? But he still manages to get the thing to the ground. Nurmagomedov throws a submission attempt, but all you're doing is just staying on your back, and Bryce is racking up more control time, and Bryce's cardio looked good, so he wasn't like he was gassed out. It's just he was not looking to advance position. He wasn't looking to put this guy away. He spent 4 minutes and 11 seconds controlling Said, and he landed effectively 0 significant strikes. On the total strikes, he again gets tripled up, 27-18. And then that brings you to the fight as a whole, okay? The total strikes, we're not talking significant. The total strikes are 100-39. Plus, you pretty well doubled them up on the significant strikes. The knockdown had happened in the first, so I'm not going to put much thought into that one. The point being is I, like everybody else, thought Bryce won the fight. I scored the fight for Bryce. But what if everybody decided to do that? And what if Bryce says for his next fight, I'm going to do that again? What if everybody says, why land any punches? I don't even have to punch this guy in the head at all. And 0 submission attempts. I don't have to submit him. I don't have to punch him in the head. Just get takedowns and hold him. Is that the sport you want to watch? And then if people know that they can just do that and everybody starts doing that and that's the winning strategy, is that what you want to see? I'm not an advocate of what Dana's kind of doing with Contender Series. Let's bring in guys from the Contender Series who have no business fighting in the UFC, who are going to accept $5,000 to donate plasma and brain cells. And once they go 0-3 or 0-4 or 1-3 whatever the crappy number is. Then we'll cut them and we'll bring in guys from the new season of Contender Series to fill those spots. They're all action guys. They stand in the pocket. They take beatings. That's what the fans want to see. I'm not a huge advocate of that. I want the best guys in the world. I want wrestlers. I want grapplers. I want premier guys. Bryce, and this is at 135. This is his debut. It's like he's not looking to strike. He's not looking to submit. I get maybe it's his first fight. He wanted to test out his cardio. And so I know it sounds like I'm being critical of him. Maybe for his next fight, he knows he can make the weight cut and he's feeling better. And maybe he'll open up his next time around. This is not indicative of where he's heading. It's just when they declare you the winner by unanimous decision in a fight where you pretty well did nothing, you won the wrestling match. You won the contest. I disagree that you won the fight. Bogdan Guskov versus Nikita Krylov. You want to talk about guys not winning fights? It was Krylov. And then to tie this to what I was just saying about Bryce Mitchell, Bryce, for such a dumb human being, he's a very dumb human being. He did fight a right game plan. This was high ring IQ. It wasn't necessarily the most entertaining thing in the world. And we'll talk about Reiner de Ritter, he fought to fight, but also used some smart ring IQ to nullify in spots. Bryce only nullified. Krylov did neither of those. He could have taken a page from Bryce's book. If you're Nikita, a guy that's chin's not that good, you have a significant grappling advantage over Bogdan Guskov. Bogdan Guskov got choked out in one round by Volkan Oezdemir. Billy Alakana took him down. Billy Alakana can't even take down Ebo. He took him down, was able to take us back. There's a clear path of victory for Krylov that would involve shooting takedowns and taking him down. When you look at Krylov's best performances, this guy's taken down. He took down Volkan Oezdemir 3 times, or a couple times anyway, 7 times. 7 times on him. He took down Johnny Walker 3 times. The guy took down Glover Teixeira, former champion. He took down Jan Blachowicz, perennial, one of the top guys at 205. He's taken down much better men. He took down Magomed Ankalaev and won a first round off of him. Didn't even shoot one single takedown against Bogdan Guskov. Now, Guskov is big. He's a little bit lumbering. He's got some legitimate power. How Guskov beats guys, knocked them out standing. Hurt them, ground and pound them after they're already hurt. How he loses fights, you take him down. You try to control him, take his back, grab a submission. Krylov just got knocked out by Dominic Reyes. Why you would want your brain to go through that again? I don't know. Why not shoot a takedown? No, he just totally, I'm just going to stay to the outside and throw down. And got clipped, got put away, which was going to happen if you decide to play that game. So sometimes you got to be a little bit smart. And listen, I'm down with the violence, and I just literally just explained to you about how fans want to see violence, and you want to see these strikers throw down. But Krylov wouldn't have just taken him down and held him down. He would have taken him down and tried to ground and pound him, taken him down and try to submit him. The point being is that the easiest path of victory here would be try to exploit Bogdan Guskov's limited ground game. You just got knocked out. It'd be good not to get knocked out in back-to-back fights. Why not try to wrestle him? And I don't know. Maybe his ACL's torn. Maybe his meniscus is gone. Maybe those 2 years off that he took off, the 2 years that he took off in between picking up a nice win, he takes 2 years off. He comes back against Dominic Reyes. Maybe he's just a different guy. Physically on the scales, he looked in awesome shape. So I don't think it's he didn't train for this thing. It's just he showed up probably with the mindset of I'm a better striker than Bogdan Guskov, and therefore decide to play into his wheelhouse, give him his best path to victory would be stand in front of him in exchange. And he did exactly that. And so for Bogdan Guskov, he capitalized. He capitalizes big. If you're a Guskov backer, huge, man, huge. Picked up a nice one. And this is a credible victory. I mean, it's not like Bogdan's beating nobodies, but Billy, who also won on this card, Ryan Spann, he just won a couple of weeks back. Zach Pauga made it to the finals of that karate combat tournament. They're not bad fighters. It's just there's no real breakthrough marquee victory. And Nikita Krylov at this stage isn't exactly a breakthrough or marquee victory, but it's definitely his most credible one. Guy that's beaten Alexander Gustafsson. He's beaten Volkan Oezdemir. He took a round off Ankalaev and went the distance with him. He split decision lost to Glover Teixeira, in which he outstruck him. There's a lot to like about that win, no doubt about it. But you caught him at the right time, because it seems like Krylov maybe just isn't the same guy, or maybe at 30 wins and 11 losses, he just cares more about putting on a show. This just didn't seem like the right call. So it is what it is. We bet on guys, and then it's like, oh, I see he's got skills here, and here, and here, and here. As long as he does this, I feel good betting this guy. And then, it's up to them to actually do that. So they don't do it. not much you can do there. And Krylov's case, like he was never going to be trustworthy at minus 200. It's Nikita Krylov. He shows up where he doesn't. Just very optimistic that he was going to show up here and use his wrestling, use his grappling. It just didn't happen. Didn't happen. Wasn't meant to be. Moving on, Almabayev versus Jose Ochoa. This one, I suppose, again, another high insight pick. It's like Almabayev does have that chain wrestling. He can stick to it. Jose Ochoa knew he was going to get up. He knew he was going to fight for 15 minutes. He'd have durability. He wouldn't get finished. He'd show you some wrinkles in his game and a good guard as well. But maybe takedown defense. I wouldn't say it's a problem of his. It's just like it's something that maybe is there to get exploited. And also Almabayev shot those takedowns. He did a good job. Why I'm not as critical as Asu as I am Bryce Mitchell, even though it's a similar story. Jose Ochoa landed 118 total strikes to 55 by Asu. Asu was basically just shooting takedowns on repeat, 7 of 16. Similar control time to Bryce. It's just like, I don't know. It was a more entertaining fight to me. Like he was shooting lots of takedowns. He was trying to grab submission attempts. You saw the 2 submission attempts in the first round. Overall 3 takedowns. It's like, yeah, he won the round fair and square. Second round, mostly just more control time, but 32 total strikes for the total strike numbers. It's like he was trying to get some stuff going. Third round, I scored for Ochoa. I had this thing personally 29-28. There was 2 takedowns, but Ochoa in that round felt like, again, he's outworking. He's trying to fight. But Asu won the first 2 rounds, and I have no problems with that. As a totality, he landed 55 to 118, but the 2 submission attempts did mean something. The 9.5 minutes of control time. This was a card that was dominated by some guy. Like, again, Bryce won on a lot of takedowns and control time. I would say Asu won based on a lot of takedowns and control time. Working our way to the main event, Rinner to Ritter fought a smart game plan, but, it involves some takedowns and some control time. It's a winning strategy. And you can't fault the guy for doing it. You would just hope that you have some learning and you have some takeaways and you're going to make some improvements and it just doesn't become who you are all the time, diving at single leg takedowns. But yeah, anyways, also was a clean enough performance for Ochoa. I got no knock against this guy. He's a dog. He's got 15 minutes cardio. He's got very good durability. His volume's good. He's fighting for it. Again, the total strikes looks low, but the significant strikes look low. The total strikes is pretty good. He had 2 submission attempts of his own. He was constantly trying to get up. He had a brief takedown that didn't get him nowhere. This guy shows a nice depth to his game. He's very well-rounded. Is he an expert in any one area? I don't necessarily think so, but he's still young. He's improving, and the UFC's done him pretty well no favors. He fought Lonier Kavanaugh in his debut, had a good fight with him, close fight, but lost. Cody Durden, this fight was in Atlanta, so it's Cody Durden's backyard. He got taken down twice in the first round. He ends up prevailing and getting the win there, but Durden's got 10-plus fights in the UFC and was in his own backyard. It's not an easy fight. And then also Almabayev, not in his own backyard, but over in Abu Dhabi, another guy that's coming off a loss to Manel Kopp in a headlining fight. It's like Ochoa's really taking the hard road, and he will get better because of that. So, still good things in store for Ochoa. And then for Almabayev, I didn't think it was the worst performance in the world. Eventually, he's going to run into guys that aren't giving up those takedowns, like Manel Kopp in his last fight, right? He went 0 for 8 in takedowns against him, or 0 for 6. And before that, Matus Nicolau, he only managed to get 1 of 6 takedowns. So eventually, these guys are going to keep the fight standing. And I don't think he's got the striking to win those fights. But against guys that don't have cast iron takedown defense, he will find a way to exploit you. And that's what he did against Jose Ochoa. So is what it is, even money fight, but it went in Almabayev's favor. Magomedov versus Marc-Andre Barriault. Now, even though my parlays have been torched at this point, there's still an small little offhand chance I can break even on my parlays. I really need Magomedov and, of course, Robert Whittaker in the main event. And I can just, get out of jail here, man. Just skimp on by and move on to the next one. But it would be important to get both of those guys to win, starting with Magomedov. I was really high on this week, being that Marc-Andre would fight a perfect game plan of standing right in front of him. With Shara, it's no secret, the man has one eye. So if you're going to fight off onto his blind spot, or you're going to fight at range, I suppose, you're going to find ways to exploit him. But Barriault's style is stand directly in front of you. And so even a blind man is going to be able to track him down and figure out where he's at. And then same thing, it's like when all your attacks are coming straight down the middle, even if you can only see half of them, he's still seeing something. You can react to it. You can make a lot of excuses for Magomedov after his last fight with Michael Venom Page, being that it's like MVP's tricky and he's fast and he's got that long pant karate style and it's hard to get a read on and it's just one bad performance. This fight against Marc-Andre Barriault, who represents, he's got a 5-9 record in the UFC currently. He represents not the worst guy in the UFC, but he represents a brawler that will stand in front of you who's one of the lesser talented guys. He beat Bruno Silva. Bruno Silva had depression issues and retired immediately afterwards. Prior to that, he's on a 3-fight losing streak. So now he's 1-4 in his last 5 fights. There's a chance the UFC cuts him. I hope they don't. Barriault's here for fun time, entertaining fights, not looking to take the easy way out. Yeah, he shot some takedowns. It was a smart thing. But when he's trying to take you down and be violent at the end of the day, to try to gain points, to try to ground and pound you from top control. I mean, he's entertaining, but at some point, he is 5-9 in the UFC and represents a lower level of guy. Shara, this was his bounce back fight, his comeback fight. They got him in Abu Dhabi. He's a star over there. He's got a residency over there. Against a guy that's going to stand in front of you. It's like I kind of maybe expected Shara to maybe make it look a little bit easier than it ended up being. But I think that's Barriault being tough, dude. Power bar showed up on the scales in awesome shape, and he fought like it. The first round, I think he was like, I'm going to get this thing to the ground to tire out Shara and test those waters. Did get a brief takedown, minute and a half of control time. But overall, he got outstruck pretty heavily. 22-5. Shara wins the first round all day. Second round, Barriault started off the round real good. He starts landing. He gets another takedown, some good ground and pound. He's fighting in the pocket, which you knew he was going to do. Slinger collar tie, uppercuts right up the middle. Tight little right hooks, just really trying to wear him up against the cage and get some takedowns. I felt like he's working his way back into the fight. He's making it a fun, entertaining fight. And beyond that, he's testing Shara Bullet. And then Magomedov just made some nice improvements. Near the end of the second round, he starts to take over and starts landing some shots. And they're landing hard. Barriault, to his credit, he's stumbling around. He's hurt. He don't go down, man. He don't go down. He doesn't quit. He stands. He's not running away. He's skirting away. Magomedov's got his hands up. You got to realize you just hit him with like 5 or 6 clean punches in the chin. He's still down to fight. Just got to clear the cobwebs for a second. So I thought Magomedov stole the second round back. No problem. Did land the more damaging blows. Had Barriault hurt. And then I'm hoping he's going to go after this KO in the third round. And he did. But Barriault's tough, man. Barriault just, he was able to take those shots. There was a flying knee in the last 20 seconds, barely grazes him. Right hand touches him. Some spinning hook kicks land off the top of his head. Essentially, Shara Bullet threw everything at him, including the kitchen sink. And Barriault took it, man. I get Chidi Bang Bang, Chidi Njokwani slept him in 16 seconds. Dustin Stolfus knocked him out in the first round. If he's reckless and some, crazy technique lands, anybody can knock out anybody. But in this case, he showed his durability is still quite intact. His cardio, I don't think his cardio let up as much as the compounding damage eventually really started to add up and take its toll. It was a fine performance from Barriault. Just he's a 6-1 underdog for a reason. And didn't quite have the skills to beat Shara. The flip side to that for Shara Magomedov, I'm going to check over. Go bam, share this instead. We're going to go to rankings. Yeah, I'm not trying to shit on the guy, but I kind of think to myself, I don't know where he goes at 185 pounds. You got to book him in these striker versus strikers because the ground game's just not going to cut it. And I'm not suggesting he's ever going to fight Dreykus or Chimaev. Imavov would do very mean things to him. Izzy, that sounds like a fair fight in that Izzy's just strictly going to strike with him. But Izzy's closer to a Michael Venom Page where he's accurate and he's fast and he's long and he's a high-level striker who's smart that probably just finds all the blind spots. Robert Whittaker, I think, beats up Magomedov pretty handily. Fluffy Hernandez might be the worst possible matchup in the entire division for Shara. Ringer de Ritter, he showed off some good stuff yesterday. Jared Cannonier, I think, gives him all types of problems. Sean Strickland, all types of problems. Cal Barahau, another stylistical matchup that you would want no part of. I thought about this last night. I thought Gregory Rodriguez and Marvin Vettori. Yeah, so Vettori's 14th. Gregory Rodriguez is 12th. I think Gregory Rodriguez absolutely handles him. But because he's got some durability issues and some cardio issues, if he don't take down Shara or he doesn't finish Shara in the first round and a half, especially if this thing was like a fight night headliner for whatever reason, it was a 5-rounder, Greg's always got some troubles. And then for Marvin's got such a brick head, but he also, similar to Barriault, he's an advanced Marc-Andre Barriault. He's an elite Marc-Andre Barriault. He stands right in front of you. He's got pretty good durability. He's limited enough in his offense, walks onto punches, doesn't utilize his grappling even if he has an advantage there. So Marvin makes sense. Brendan Allen, that would obviously get flipped now. Tapology is just slow on the rankings, but Brendan Allen does very, very bad things to Shara Magomedov. So again, as much as he can be a star, and he can rack up some wins and you can put him on these Abu Dhabi cards. The realistic nature of it is he looks intimidating. He's marketable. He's not likely a top 15 guy. If he is a top 15 guy, he's going to have to beat a Marvin Vettori fringe number 15 guy. And then, of course, it's the fight game. He could, in theory, knock somebody out. But it was a really competitive fight against Marc-Andre Barriault in its own way. At least the second round. First and third weren't overly. I don't know. I shouldn't be shitting on the guy. It was a solid win. I needed him to win. He won. Got to end up getting screwed in the main event anyway, so it doesn't matter. But in terms of my respect level for Shara, it's up there. In terms of my respect level for Marc-Andre Barriault, dog, I'm proud of you, man. You went out there. You did a good job. And I would think the UFC is going to keep you around. I know he re-signed a new contract, but I want to say that was two fights ago, 3 fights ago, maybe. So I would imagine his next fight is going to be in the UFC, hopefully against a bounce back. But if he continues to lose, there's only so much they can do for him. Peter Yan versus Marcus McGhee. So many dogs hitting on this card that I was like, why not Marcus? I mean, at this point, you got Bogdan Guskov cashed as an underdog. Muslim Salikhov cashed as an underdog. Davy Grant, Tabitha Ricci, Billy Alakana, Martin Budai. Why not one more? Not in the main event, but the co-main event. Give me the last underdog. Yeah, it was another spot similar to Marc-Andre Barriault against Shara where McGhee got outclassed. He got outclassed, but it was a good competitive fight. I think that McGhee's stock went up even in defeat. He showed that he can hang with elite level bantamweights. There's no shame in hanging your head over this one. It just, from a betting standpoint, even though it was the underdog, value side plus money, could it be a close competitive fight, which I thought it was a close competitive fight. The rightful winner was Peter Yan. First round, again, it's like the numbers are close, 22-22. Yan was a little bit sharper, a little bit faster. McGhee kind of looked like he was waiting for Yan to throw, and then he would get going. A lot of the punches that he had landed seemingly were blocked by Peter Yan, but they did get his attention. It was a close round. Second round, much of the same. Marcus McGhee lands him 34-33. I scored the second round for Marcus. It looked like some of those shots, even though they were being blocked, they were kind of, I wouldn't say rattling, but they were getting through. They were causing some damage. Peter looked like he was maybe fighting a step slower, not throwing as much. Close round. We figured this would be a close competitive fight. Round 1 was close, but I gave it to Yan. Round 2 was close, but I gave it to McGhee. And then the third round, Peter Yan goes into the Matrix, man. It's just what he does. If you're watching the show, you're a fight fan. If you're a fight fan, you know who Peter Yan is. If you know who Peter Yan is, yeah, you know that this guy's like a steam engine, dude. He just keeps building better and better. The first round is the time to beat him. Slow first round. So if Marcus could have just a little bit more and snuck out that first and won the second, he's money. 1-1 going into the third against Peter is a tough proposition because outside of like Merab Dvalishvili, nobody really wins these later rounds against Pete. Pete in a 5-rounder, he's built for 5-rounders. This is a 3-round fight. Time to capitalize. He's a slow starter. Let's get the jump early. He's going to take over late. We'll survive. We can get the win. And in this case, it just wasn't enough. Marcus, I thought, did an excellent job. Took the punches, rolled with them, returned fire, shot a few decent takedowns, didn't get them, but was able to just kind of like mix a different element in, keep Yan thinking. But then by the third round, Peter Yan was the one that got the takedown. And then once Yan got on top, McGhee just accepted a lot of the positions. I would say part of him was tired. You're 35. You're deep into the third round with a former world title challenger. Had not for Aljamain Sterling saying, no, man, I can't continue. That illegal knee knocked me out. If not for that, Peter Yan would have been a former world champion. He would have lost the belt to Merab eventually. But Yan's about as good as it gets. So there's no shame in that. When you're tired in the third round, you accepted some positions on their back. Pete's just so goddamn well-rounded, man. He well-rounded. I think he's starting to get a little bit older. You'll start to see some aggression at some point, but the dude wants it. He's very fast. His boxing combinations are nice. On the kicking standpoint, he had landed. Where is it at? Just 8 for 12 on the leg kicks, right? And I think a lot of people assume that that was gonna be his path here, but really it was the boxing combinations. He's just too fast, in the clinch, 23 of 32. Every time he would clinch up, he was able to land. Marcus's problem is that whenever you get clinched up, he was almost thinking about digging the underhook, creating space, getting back at distance, whereas on the exit, he'd be getting hit a lot. So, listen, I'm a big Peter Yan fan, and I decided to go with my heart here and take my boy Marcus McGhee. Clearly not the right move, but, I mean, it's just similar to Barriault, better than Barriault. It was a lot more competitive than that, in my opinion. It's like you gave a world class guy. That's a lie. Magomedov's really not a world class guy. McGhee gave a world class guy a good fight. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Just on a betting standpoint, you like to get picks right. You like to win some money. I had it over 2.5, but at minus 300, that ain't nothing worth bragging about to nobody. So, losing effort. Losing effort is bottom line. One last shot. One last chance. Seize my money back, but I would really need Robert Whittaker to win this main event. Taking on Rainer de Ritter, former one champion. Yeah, this was just a kick in the ass. Kick in the ass of sorts. First round, this is a good round for Robert Whittaker. Listen, he's using that jab. He had way more of a karate bounce in that first, bouncing in and out. Renner is huge, and we knew that he was going to be huge, but this is why weight classes exist. De Ritter has fought at one championship at 205 pounds. He's fought on the regional scene that wasn't one FC at 205 pounds. At 185, he's just gigantic. And Whittaker, he's a former world champion at 185. But he also used to fight in the UFC back in the day at 170 pounds, knocked out by Stephen Wonderboy Thompson once upon a time. So even though Whittaker, a former 170, has gotten gold at 185, and De Ritter, he can make 185. These guys are both middleweights. Seeing them in there, it's like they're not both middleweights. Whittaker looks small in proportion, and De Ritter, I don't know how this guy cuts weight, but if you're a young fighter who wants to figure out how to cut weight, figure out what the hell this guy's doing, because he's just absolutely huge, man. Anyways, first round, Robbie wins it. He's got way more of a karate bounce going. He's in and out. And also, everything he's landing in that first round, no knockdown. Everything he's landing seems to stun De Ritter. He's turning his head. He's half turning his back. I was honestly, I had an over 2.5 bet. This is so stupid. I had an over 2.5 bet on this as well. So in that first round, I was actually cheering for Renner to not get knocked out. And I did the same thing in early in the third round, was just survive a little longer after the knockdown. And then those end up killing my parlays. So like I'm cheering against myself. In hindsight, just finish the goddamn fight. I got greedy. It was like I want to win the fight. And because I've lost all these other parlays, my top line hits and I can hit a few of these props, I can still make this profitable. So the first round, Whittaker's hitting him, and it's like De Ritter's turning. His body language is real bad. It honestly looks like the beginning of the end, and that a knockout blow is coming at any moment now. And I'm cheering for Ritter. Oh, just survive. Oh, Ritter, just move your feet. I'll just clinch up with him and kill some time. It's an all day, all night first round Robert Whittaker. I don't know if there's any argument against that. The second round, this is where my fortunes start to fall apart. Renner gets the takedown, and it's a beautifully timed takedown as well. Like you can tell in the first two, he's coming in, he shoots, and Robbie's got these things figured out. He's standing at distance, he sees the shot coming in, he's digging the underhook. Renner's got to get into a clinch situation because he's so much bigger and he has a judo base. If he can get him into the clinch, then he can start using throws more than just shooting from the outside. Shooting from the outside is not really working. The single legs aren't really working. The collar ties, the underhooks up against the cage. Whittaker's able to kind of create some space and get off the cage. But that slowing him down, getting a hold of him, grabbing underhooks or grabbing, just like clasping your hands behind him, that's going to be the way you can muscle this guy to the ground. So the takedown was actually less of a throw, more of a double leg, but he took him down in the open space, got on top, wins the round. This thing's 1-1. This thing's 1-1, and it no longer feels good because I thought Whittaker was tired. That bounce, that karate bounce, it's gone. He's now flat-footed. He's now flat-footed and just throwing jabs from the hip side, which is fine because that's how the Reaper fights. If you watch a lot of Whittaker's fights, is that he throws jabs from the hip side flat-footed. He's got a really good jab. It's long, it's snappy. He's good at reacting with it, not so much as a counter, but just as you're stepping in, he'll stiff you with it. The problem here is that this reach, right? Robert Whittaker has a 73-inch reach. Renner de Ritter has a 78-inch reach. So his best weapon, which is effectively his jab, I don't think anybody's debating that is that it's being rendered useless. He's getting hit by the jab. Ritter to Ritter's jab was on point, and he kept touching him up, right hand over the top. You can see that Whittaker is starting to get puzzled. And now it's okay, well, how if I can't jab him from the outside, and why am I staying on the outside? Because I don't want to get taken down. I'm just going to fight from the outside. Okay, great. If you can't land those jabs from the outside and he's landing on you first, well, what's the next path of victory? You can either shoot a takedown. Not going to do that. Don't want to go to the ground with this guy. Okay. Or you can step in the pocket and fight him. I also don't want to step in the pocket because he's launching these colossal step-in knees, and he's so much bigger than me. If I step in the pocket, he's going to grab me. If he grabs me, I'm getting taken down. So you could see Whittaker was just running out of ideas. Well, how do I approach this situation? Got taken down, got outstruck standing, lost the second round. So it's 1-1. Things are not trending in our favor. Ritter has him figured out, and he knows it. And so the start of the third round, he just goes reckless. Like he hits Robert, he hurts him. Those step-in knees have taken their toll. Why is Whittaker so tired all of a sudden? Probably because of the knees to the body. Every time that he would step in and land one, it's like you could see the air just come out of Robbie. Now, Robbie's a former world champion. He's been in wars before. He's got an excellent poker face. And I thought he did a really good job of covering up how hurt he was a lot of the time. But moving backwards, trying to move laterally, constantly trying to pummel and dig an underhook against a giant of a man, yeah, it sapped his energy. But here's the great thing. Ritter knows he's got this guy in the rope, so he gets over aggressive. He runs in, and Robbie's class act. Robbie's got a lot of back class, former champion, knows what he's doing, is not going to quit on himself. So counter left hand hits the Ritter and just folds him. Now, again, it's like I got to over 2.5 rounds, and we're in the third. So I need Robbie to finish him after the halfway point of the round. And when the Ritter got back up, I knew I was going to be in for probably a rough night. Simply because when he got back up, his cardio looked real good, dude. Like, he didn't get up, oh man, I'm hurt. He got up and it was just like, I'm going to get this back. And he damn near did get it back. He got the takedown. He got on top of Whittaker, and he spent 1:40 on top. In most scenarios, it was enough to steal the round back. In this scenario, it wasn't because of the knockdown. So Whittaker got the one knockdown. He outlanded him technically 20-13 significantly. You'll see on the total strikes, Ritter outlanded him because of that top control, the 2 minutes and 39 seconds, the takedown. All of that's enough to suggest it's a Ritter round. But the knockdown, the damage, so to speak, I don't know if you want to call it that. The guy got up and looked totally fine. That gives the round to Robert Whittaker. So this thing is 2-1 Whittaker. He won the first, he won the third, he lost the second. He effectively needs to win one of the next 2 rounds, and we can take this thing on home. But this is where De Ritter, I thought, really turned up the ring IQ. And personally, I thought Whittaker won the fight, but it's not a robbery. It's not worth me crying about. It's not worth me saying, this, and this, and crying about spilled milk. It is what it is. Is that the fourth round, Ritter just went to standing cage control. It was not so much about taking him down anymore. It was about just holding him up against the cage. And he did exactly that. 0 for 3 on takedowns, less than 2 minutes of control time, but it's these total strikes, 37-8. It's constant smothering. It's constant short little shots. Whittaker's so worried about digging the underhook and trying to pummel and create space and get off of the cage that there's not a whole lot of offense coming back his way. Even though the few shots that he landed, to me, were the better shots, he was getting doubled up. So the better shots weren't enough to sway that round. It's 2-2 going into the fifth. The fifth was actually just like the fourth in that there's 2 minutes of standing cage control time. 0 for 4 on takedowns. Total strikes, 73-11. So why wouldn't it be a Ritter to Ritter round? Just felt like he was doing a whole lot of hugging. And I'll watch it back again. I did not see the 73 total strikes to 11. I did not notice that. I noticed Robert getting pressed up against the cage. Ritter finally tired. He too is tired. And he's just grabbing it. He would grab him. He'd push him up against the cage. The knees, the step-in knees worked all fight. The fifth round, he's not even really trying to land them. He just throw it to kill the distance. Throw it. Now that foot comes in. Now I'm in front of you. Now I grab you right up against the cage. Significant strikes, and this really doesn't matter. A slight edge for Whittaker. It's just when Whittaker would break off the cage and land something, or when De Ritter would step in and eat one and then grab him and press him up against the cage, and then Robbie creates space and gets out, I thought that was enough to win it. I thought that was enough to pull this thing off. He was landing the better shots, in my opinion. He's the one trying to fight, create space, get back to the open field. This other guy's just zombie mode, walking into punches, trying to hold on to you. It's 2-2. Who wants it more? If this is Japan, who won the fight as a whole? Who's going to go for it? Felt like Whittaker went for it, but I didn't feel great about it. So it goes to the scorecards. First judge gives it Whittaker. Okay, let's do this thing. Second judge gives it to Ritter. Okay, please, MMA gods, give me one little bounce here, baby, which is fair. I'm not asking for a robbery. I'm saying I got his ass kicked, and I need you to bail me out here. But it was a really close fight, man, and I would really love if you could give me this bounce my way, but it just wasn't to be. It wasn't to be. The Ritter gets the win. I can't cry robbery. It's a 48-47. You can see that the two judges that gave it to him gave him 48-47s. The judge that gave it for Whittaker had it 48-47. I mean, it's a true indication of how close the fight was. Some people online were saying RDR 4-1. Nonsense. In the same breath, Robert Whittaker 4-1. Probably also pretty ridiculous, but it just seems to me like he won at least two of the rounds. First and the third round all day long. You know, could you make an argument that he won one of those other three? I think so, but I can't take away anything from De Ridder. The step-in knees were a beautiful part of the game plan. This guy's much shorter. You know, the jabs, this guy's technical boxing is awful, but he's so goddamn long and he's accurate. It's not like he's long and he's throwing at nothing. It's like Robbie's moving side to side. Robbie's moving his head, and these things are hitting him. When you're long, you're accurate. You can fight 5 rounds if need be, which ended up being the case. His judo, his cardio, it was a solid performance from him. At 34, this shoots him right into the title contention, beating a former champion. How does he do against a Dreykus, or how does he do against Ogus? Not sure, but are you telling me you don't think he could beat a Sean Strickland type? Absolutely. Could he beat a Jared Cannonier type? Absolutely. Could he beat a Brandon Allen? Yeah, no doubt about it. Imavov, I think, would probably put a beating on him. Kyle Barahau, probably a favorable matchup for Barahau. All I'm saying is those guys are the creme de la creme. And with Reiner de Ridder, he was never going to get to fight the creme de la creme without beating a top elite guy. And that's what he did. So regardless if you think he won or you think he lost, it's a quality showing that does show he can compete with the upper echelon guys in this division, and he'll continue to do so. For Whittaker, it's a tough setback. You drop to 2 in a row. Khamzat Chimaev is fighting for the belt next. Reiner de Ridder is now a top contender. He's still capable of beating guys, no doubt about it, but it's the hurt game. He's had a lot of hurt. He looked tired in this fight. Looked like his insides got shredded. No doubt about it. He'll be pissing blood for the next week or two because his organs really got made to just turn into beef stew, really. And then, yeah, Reiner de Ridder did have takedowns. Robert Whittaker's guard looked good. He's able to constantly regard, pass the side control, regard, try to get mount and block it. His guard defensively, unreal. It's just getting up against a guy this big was not going to happen. So he stayed out of harm's way, but he allowed the time to tick away from him. It's a woulda, coulda, shoulda fight. If Whittaker goes back to the drawing board, changes a few things, if they fought 10 times, no doubt he can win half of those. No doubt, maybe he wins even more than half of those. But yeah, this is a one-time scenario. RDR fought one hell of a good game plan, man. Step in knees, neutralize the guy up against the cage. His corner may have told him, listen, you're down 2-1 going into 4 and 5. Stop playing with this guy. Hold him up against the cage. And then he did that. I had buddies. My buddy Jordan hit me up and he was like, this is bitch ass. And the guy wasn't trying to fight. Like, I'm not that upset about it. It was a good fight, in my opinion. I understand the whole, especially when you lose a bet, it's always like that guy cheated me, that guy cheated me. I can just understand when it's a close fight, you know, it's not a robbery. It's not I won 30-27. Your guy was bleeding. Your guy was falling all over the place. It's close and it's subjective. And it wasn't like any of those referees were from Abu Dhabi, right? What were the, we had definitely Ben Cartledge's, Ben Cartledge, Mike Bell, and David Leatherby. It's the same 3 shitty judges or 3 of the same 6 shitty judges that you see at every single card. It is what it is, man. You can't rely on the judges to get the job done for you. The first round, Whittaker's making this guy look like an idiot. The third round, Whittaker almost knocks him out. You got to make every round look like that or get the finish. Otherwise, you know, it's close. It's subjective. And are they looking at control time or damage? And the last thing I want to say is this wasn't a fight of Whittaker did all the damage and RDR had all the control time, similar to, like, I don't know, Bryce Mitchell's fight. RDR did a whole lot of damage, dude. Those knees to the body really hurt him. Whittaker's face got busted up. There was some nice right hands in the mix. And then, of course, the takedowns didn't hurt as well. So, yeah, can't scream robbery. It is what it is. It would have been nice to hit that main event. Of course, always nice to cap off the night. But, yeah, we're just going to have to lick our wounds and then jump back on the pony and jump on it for next week. So, yeah, extra careful next week, hoping just to hit the right formula. And then in terms of if you're on the Bookie Beatdown Patreon, yeah, listen, we got tons of regional stuff coming up, 2 Sunday shows. So I'm going to go ahead and end this recap now and then jump full swing into that. And then just, yeah, like the train goes on, like any sport. You're going to get on a hot streak, you're going to get on a cold streak, and gambling is very much of the same. You're not going to win all the time. There's going to be some bad efforts. There's going to be some bad luck. There's going to be some bad bounces. But like anything, like no streak lasts forever. So if you're feeling down for yourself, I'm feeling down on myself. It's okay, man. Just shake it off. You know what you're looking at. You got to get the right bounces. You got to get the right formula. You got to get the right set of guys, and you got to hope that they do the right thing. So luck is always going to be an element to it as well. You can be unlucky and lose. You can be lucky and win. It's just the nature of the game. So we're hoping that whoever's looking out for us from above is really looking out for us next week, because it'd be love to put this cold streak to end, get the monkey off the back, and then just return to at least hitting for his top 2 tickets. Props have been a little bit better, but all the same, it's like summer's almost over. The weather's starting to cool down, but we're starting to heat up. Got to change our fortune next week. That's the plan. Anyways, that's it for me. Don't need to sit here and ramble all day. I'm moving on to Anthony Pettis FC and Fury Challenger Series. Whatever you guys choose to do with your Sunday, enjoy it. Enjoy with the kids. Go golfing, go boating, go hang out with some friends, some loved ones, or do some tape study. Whatever it is that you want to do, seize the day. So anyways, that's it from me. I will catch you guys next time, and hopefully on a much better note with good stories and laughs and hurrahs. But as far as Abu Dhabi, not so kind. Anyways, catch you guys later. All the best.